This poem is called the Antikythera mechanism, and it's about an artifact which was recovered in the early 20th century as part of an underwater archaeology expedition. And it puzzled people who recovered it at the time. They didn't know exactly what it was. It turned out to be a very early form of analog computer, really, a calculating machine. And subsequently, through the 20th century, it was x-rayed and examined and so on, and has been reconstructed. And it was immensely complex, much more complex than people originally believed technology of that time would permit. It's now in the Museum of Antiquities in Athens, and they've also got one of the reconstructions there. So I wrote a poem about the mechanism and I suppose around the idea of time also. The Antikythera mechanism. Too subtle to have been unique, a circular system of fine-tooth gears in cedar, its wheeled, delicate copper alloy movement, cranked by a handle, clicks and whirs so its incised texts rotate. This year, the color is black, or the color is fire red. Almost overlooked, dredged through starless ages by a sponge diver crippled by the bends, the sea-bitten glyphs, friable as icing, say that knowledge is dust, almost, but this is the moon in a groove, no vagabond, but modest and observable in all her pale steps and lunations. Watching her narrow smile snagged on the needle tip of the cypress, or floating brokenly on a sea which admitted darkness but was never blue, must have suggested to him this gleaming planetary gearing, since to cast bronze is to pray, and to beat metal is to give praise. There was time in the town square clepsydra, but it trickled away. He could never step into it again. These were the loved hours, the poem of the moment, of pouring ripeness, when the breeze drove the flame of its exact pattern across the corn. Wallingford's world-famous astrolabe, Susong's cosmic engine, all the beauty of escapements, Mercury, grasshopper, or deadlock, even the ticking decay in 9 billion cesium cycles, interrogate, like this drowned analect of a mechanical age, ever more precisely the same silence. Shall I find it? Shall I become rich? Shall I live an object of envy? Shall I die in my bed? But nothing, since the nice-fingered craftsman of Corinth set the gear trains to a careful stargazer's design, has come close to an answer. Consult the oracle bones, cast the yarrow stalks, inhale the fine particles of your trade until they glitter in lung and bone. It is the distant ignition of stars, you, this clock, this dust, the yes-no, no-yes of the pendulum.